family. Okay, so this is my first time going live on YouTube in a really long time. So I want to say hello. For those of you who aren't familiar with who I am, my name is Cicely Everson. My channel name is called That Medicine Woman because I am a holistic medicine practitioner. I work as an herbalist, functional medicine practitioner, and basically just help people radically restore their health using natural healing, holistic modalities, including things like herbal medicine, Reiki, energy healing, lots of cool things. So if you're interested in any of that, please check out my website. You can go to shoptowelapothecary.com and you'll get to know more about me and what I do. But for the purposes and intents of this video, I want to talk about immunity and I want to talk about the shot and what they are not telling you in terms of the shot and your immunity. Okay. And when I say they, I mean the establishment. So this is a really essential video. It doesn't matter if you're pro or against getting it. This is informative. So this is for you to learn what you can do if you have gotten the shot, but you're a little fearful or you're unsure and you just want to do what you can do to protect your body from the effects. I'm going to share that with you, but I'm also going to give you a very basic protocol, basic yet substantial, a really basic protocol for strengthening your own immunity. Okay. And that's important because you are the only one in charge of you. Okay. They are not in charge of you. They want to be in charge of you. And so when you know this, then you can think differently and make different choices to protect your health. And so I am simply encouraging you to think. This is not a video that is, I'm making this to skew your take or to persuade you to do one thing or the other. The only thing I'm here to persuade you to do is to think without the influence of other people's opinions, including my own. So I want you to do your own research, which we'll talk about in a second. I want you to use your own brain to really make informed decisions. Okay. So sometimes those decisions get convoluted by people who are in our lives. It might be coworkers, friends, partners, spouses, parents, kids, the news and media, Google. There are so many things competing for our attention, but it's important for you to know that it is your brain. You have the right to think freely and without distraction and without your ideas being convoluted by someone else's. So think. I just want you to think. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you is here's what they aren't telling you. The first thing that they aren't telling you about the shot and your immunity is that your immune system is your vaccine. The immune system is your protection, your natural immune system. How come the media isn't telling us how we can strengthen our immune system? How come the media isn't telling us what we can do to protect ourselves and to prevent ourselves from, getting sick from viruses or bacteria or whatever, other kinds of pathogens? How come they're not encouraging us to think and to do things in that arena? Instead, we are being encouraged to simply just follow along, do what they say. That is the wrong move, because if you're making a decision based off of what someone else is telling you to do or recommending, you're letting someone else govern your life and your decisions. And we are in charge of ourselves. We are sovereign beings and we have a right to our personal freedoms, our medical freedoms, and no one should be able to take those away from us. So we have to be smart, do our research, independent research, and take the time to think for ourselves. Now, if your day or if your source of news comes from watching CNN, MSNBC, or whatever other news outlet you like, or if your information comes from Googling and typing something in on your keyboard, then you're going to get skewed information. It's going to be slanted because we are not in charge of mainstream media, right? We are not in charge of what passes through the interwebs and what we find online. The establishment is. And so you can't go to a source, to a product of the establishment to find truth and independent information if that information is being censored. And yes, it is. You want to know why? If you Google anything related to COVID, you will only find establishment-based websites or institutions that are being influenced by the establishment. You would have to go into pages and pages and pages of Google searches to find other things. Trust me, they have made it really difficult to find truth. And who goes past page one of Google anyway. I mean, I can count the number of times I've done that. So think and think again and be mindful of your sources of information. Okay, so like I said, the first thing that they're not telling you about the vax and about your immunity is that your immune system is your protection. That is your vax. It's your immune system. However, 80% of your immune system cells live in your gut. So that means, I'll say that again, 80% of your immune system's cells live in your gut, which means your immune system is impacted by anything that comes through the gut. What passes through the gut most frequently? Liquids, foods, because we have to eat. We eat throughout the day, every day, and therefore that should be step one in helping to nurture your immune system. But if you're eating foods from a standard American diet, the standard Western diet, where it's carbohydrate rich, refined food rich, inflammatory, it's high in inflammatories like dairy, gluten from wheat, rye, and barley. If you're eating a standard diet and not really thinking anything of it, then you are putting your immune system at a disadvantage, and you will eventually fall prey to illness and disease. And I don't mean the common cold. I mean, you'll be more susceptible to chronic conditions because you're not putting your immune system in a place for it to win. So because we eat and we drink all day, every day, that should be the first natural step in healing your immune system and resetting your immune system or strengthening your immune system. That is really important. The second thing that they're not telling you about your immunity is what you can do to actually strengthen your immune system naturally. They're not going to benefit from that. They're not going to benefit from people being healthy because instead of a healthcare system, we have a sick care system. So their job is to keep you in the mix, to keep you focused on the information that they give you and the information that they give you only. Okay, so this is why you have to start doing your own independent research and to think for yourself. So they're not telling you that your immune system is actually your protection. That is your vaccine. And they're not telling you how to strengthen your immune system. And so I will be doing that for you here today. Now, what can also affect your immune system besides food? Stress and toxins. If you think about just the last year and a half to 2 years of your life, a lot of our experiences look very similar. We've been under higher amounts of stress. If you had a hectic lifestyle before COVID, it probably got even worse. Even if that meant you were at home quarantined, it was still stressful because now you got everybody in the house, right? And routines just kind of went out the door. So stress definitely will impact your immune system. The first thing that's impacted when you feel stress, one of the first things is your digestion. Your digestion is halted. It comes to a stop. Your adrenal glands kick in to fight or flight because they think that your body is facing a threat. And if you were running away from a tiger or a lion, then that would be accurate. But when you are simply faced with daily stressors, maybe minor, maybe some a little more moderate or bigger stressors, the body doesn't care if it's a little stress or a big stress. All it knows is that it senses stress. And on a physiological level, it will start pumping out stress hormones into your bloodstream to help you deal with it. It thinks that it's helping you to deal with the situation. Now, again, if I was running away from a tiger or a lion, I definitely want my fight or flight system to kick in because I definitely want to get up out of there and run away from that stressor. But if you're dealing with daily stresses like work, family, home, money, whatever, or health, whatever it is, it's not healthy to have that your adrenal system constantly kicked into high gear because what it's going to do is make you even more stressed. Now it's flooding your body with stress hormones and putting you at risk for chronic diseases, let alone things like weight gain easily, thyroid and hormone imbalance easily, simply because you're not monitoring or being in control of your stress. So food impacts your gut and your immune system. Stress impacts your gut and your immune system. And lastly, toxins impact your gut and your immune system. Toxins come in the form of physical toxins, chemical toxins from the air, from the food, from water. And by physical toxins, this could be anything from personal care products to skincare, cosmetics, household cleaners, chemicals in products like that we don't even think twice about. And there is a statistic that shows that the average woman puts on about 500 chemicals before she leaves her house in the morning. So I guess you could say pre-COVID, right? So when people were getting up, going to work, the average woman who leaves the house in the morning is putting on about 500 different chemicals. That's scary. They're finding at least 200 plus chemicals in umbilical cords of babies, right? Because there's just so many toxins. And so all of these things, food, stress, toxins, can all impact the quality of your immune system. So what do we do to fix it? We're going to chat about that in a second. But what I first want to share with you is about energy and fear. This is another hidden component that they're not going to tell you about, obviously, because it's not a part of their agenda. But fear is an energy that will contribute to disease faster than the disease itself. So if you're someone who's living in fear behind this whole pandemic, or if you're living in fear because of a loved one, or maybe an elderly person in your family, and you're just worried, you have to check your energy. You have to check that, because worry is not a positive practice. Worrying is like praying for something that you don't want to happen. Okay. Worrying is like praying for something that you don't want to happen. Now, mainstream media, all of the information that floods, medical websites, establishment websites, anything on Google, they're all designed to keep you in fear. Now, I'm all for the truth, but don't give false information and paint that as the truth. And unfortunately, that's what's happened with a lot of independent thinkers, a lot of independent researchers and scientists, even people whose websites and channels have been pulled down and censored simply because they are giving truth. And if you go to Google anything about what's happening, you're only going to find establishment-based websites. Try it, right? And like I said, you'd have to dig pages and pages beyond just to get like an independently derived study or paper. So it's really essential that you check your fear, because that's going to contribute to you getting sick or reducing your own health and reducing your own immunity faster than any disease. Okay. And it's unfortunate because right now fear is leading so many decisions for people, whether it's, not sure if I should get the shot because of work or whatever, or because of somebody in my family and it's like opposing ideas in one household. Like, fear can be no joke. We just have to recognize that it's there and work on breaking it down, because it's not something there are going to be fears around us all the time, but you do get to choose whether or not you're impacted by it. Right now, if you don't think freely for yourself, if you only go along with the status quo, you are at risk of losing freedoms. Think about it. At this point right now, they don't want you to go to a sporting event unless you've gotten the shot, to restaurants and bars, to churches, to schools. There are so many things, like to travel. When you think about it, those 5 things that I mentioned, those are 5 major freedoms that we never even realized as freedom before this whole thing. So yes, people are choosing to get the shot out of fear, unfortunately, because for some people, they're like, well, I have to be able to travel. I have to be able to, my kids going to college, whatever. And it is unfortunate, but I'm going to share with you what you can do if you have gotten the shot, how you can neutralize the effects of some potential, shots. And what you can do to also build your immunity, the basics, a simplified version of that. So we talked about why your immunity is so important, how 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. We talked about the things that impact your immunity: food, stress, toxins. We talked about fear and how fear as an energy can cause a disease to replicate or cause yourself to develop conditions or symptoms of a disease faster than the disease itself, okay? It's all energy. Before your body is physiologically impacted with illness, there was an energetic disturbance or imbalance. Okay, that's how it works. So if you have a physical ailments, your energy is also imbalanced as well, and that then manifests as a physical or physiological sign or symptom of some kind. All right, so if you've gotten the shot, or someone who has, and they're concerned, or maybe you're concerned or worried, here's what you can do. But it's also important for you to know like what it potentially does. So the actual meaning behind getting this shot is to, and I'm being very careful of the words I'm choosing so the video doesn't get flagged. But the idea behind this is to inject the body with spike proteins. Spike proteins actually attach themselves to the host cell, you would be the host, and then begin to replicate over and over inside of the cells. We have trillions of cells, which means lots of replications. And what happens is this triggers the immune system to create a response. It elicits a response from the immune system to begin fighting off whatever the body thinks is foreign if something gets into the body. This sounds good in theory, but this is actually more of a sensitization issue. So when you get any kind of a shot, it sensitizes you to the material so that your body can more quickly pick it up if it knows that if it senses it's in the environment, like a radar. Okay. And so that's actually what's happening. And so when people get this particular shot, the spike proteins are causing people to shed the virus much more easily and to spread it. Why? Because there are trillions of cells in which the spike proteins are replicating. That is a problem. So when you hear people say that people who have not gotten the shot are the ones putting everyone else at danger, that is a lie. That is a lie. People who have gotten the shot are actually in more of a position to shed and to spread this versus people who have not gotten it. So let's not make this a war, right? Let's not make this a battle between two different kinds of people, because that is coming from the top down. Don't let them infiltrate your mind with that garbage. We all had our natural defense systems before this thing ever existed, right? So why all of a sudden someone who is in their natural state who chooses not to get it, why all of a sudden are they the ones causing the problems? You have to think. Just want to encourage you to think. The issue that I have with creating or eliciting an immune response at such a high level is autoimmunity. Autoimmune conditions are on the rise like no other. And there are hundreds of conditions that can be found on the autoimmune spectrum. One of those is rheumatoid arthritis. Have you ever considered rheumatoid arthritis as an autoimmune disease? Have you ever thought about irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, as an autoimmune disease? Have you ever thought about Hashimoto's, which is a condition of the thyroid hormones fluctuating? Have you ever considered that an autoimmune disease? These are all on the autoimmune spectrum. So this is real. We don't want to put the immune system in a position where it's constantly being boosted. It's great to strengthen the immune system. It's great to strengthen the immune system. And it's great to boost the immune system, but we don't want to be in a position where we're constantly doing it, because then we could get into autoimmunity. And this can definitely create a breeding ground for autoimmunity. All right, I need to plug my phone in. Let's see if I can get my charger to reach. If not, I'm going to have to move it over. All right, let's see here. Bear with me, y'all. Okay, so that is one of my issues with the whole immunity thing, okay? Your immune system, your immune cells are the natural protective mechanism. But when you disturb it, now you're sort of left out in the open without any protection. So I want to share how you can simply strengthen the immune system and help to modulate your immunity. So that way you're not in a constant state of fighting something off. Can you imagine how stressful that would be for your body? Think about if you had to physically step in and fight somebody or fight something off every day. That would be stressful. That would wear you down, and that would also run down your immunity. And what's happening inside of our bodies is not much different. So again, just think about where you're getting your information. Think about your own personal freedoms, and try to make decisions without being influenced by people, including myself. That's why independent research is so critical. But, you know, we have people around us sometimes who, there might be people in your family who don't, let's say you have not gotten the shot. There might be people in your family who don't want to be around you because they're misinformed and they think you're the dangerous one. If you have gotten the shot, there might be people in your family who you don't want to go around because you think they're the dangerous one. Let's not allow them to create this fear that has us on opposing sides. Everyone has his or her own right to choose. I'm simply here to just inform and give the science and what I feel are the facts based on my independent research and based on my skill set and what I do. I didn't just wake up and decide to just go live and talk about something that I have no idea about. I can teach you about your body. I can teach you about the immune system, how to build it, how to help modulate it and keep it balanced so that you're not in a state of autoimmunity. And these are important things that we need in order to live. Okay, so here's my list. Before I get into the top 5 nutrients that are going to be essential for you building or rebuilding your immune system, I do want to share with you that if you've had the shot and you are worried or you just want to do what you can do to protect yourself, maybe if you're someone who got the shot and you are in total agreement with it and you think it's going to protect you, then this video is probably not for you. But if you're someone who's on the fence and you're like, I really don't want to get it, but I got it. Or if you're someone who's like, yeah, I didn't want to get it, but I got it because they made me, my work or my job or whatever in my school, then you need to listen because there are other options. But if you've already gotten it, you might be thinking, well, what next? What do I do now? Or it's too late, I already got it. No, it's not. Let me share with you how we can how we can strengthen the immune system. But also, I have 2 products on my website called a part of the Vaccine Effects collection. It's 2 products. You can buy them individually or together as a combo, and it's discounted. One of those products is designed to detoxify the body because when we take in inoculations, when we have a shot, there are a lot of times unwanted chemicals. We don't want the chemicals in our bodies, and they're used for various reasons. They would have you to believe that they're an important part of the cocktail mix. But one of the products in my Vaccine Effects Duo is to help detoxify the effects of different types of shots, okay? And that will help to cleanse the body of toxins. It will help to improve your antioxidant defense system. We each have what's called an antioxidant defense system. That's our natural system of killing off free radicals and things that don't belong in the body. But again, some of those same things that hamper your immunity will hamper your antioxidant defense system. So this is why we have to take external supplements. Plus, it doesn't matter how healthy you eat, if you're a raw vegan or if you're paleo or keto or organic or low fat, low carb, high carb, it doesn't matter. The soil is different today than it was 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, which means it's going to be more nutrient depleted now. So we need to take external nutrients in the form of herbs, other supplements and nutrients to really help put back in what we're missing. And for most of us, if you've never taken vitamins or herbs consistently, you don't even really know what it's like to feel amazing because when you feel better because you're taking something exogenously, meaning you're taking something from the external environment and putting it in your body, when you feel better because you're taking an herb or a plant or a supplement or a vitamin or a mineral, that means your body needed it, which means your body was missing it or was missing a certain amount of it. You could have that nutrient in your body, but it could be at such low levels that it's not even active or giving you the benefits of that nutrient. So, it's essential that no matter what kind of diet or lifestyle you lead, like we need to support our body because the environment is different. Okay. Toxins from the food, air, and water, all of which we can't control. Well, I should say some of which we can't control. There are some things we can control. If you prepare your own food, if you grow your own food, if you're more mindful around what you're eating, where your food's coming from, if you have certain water filters and you keep the air in your home clean. I mean, we don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but there are some things that we do have control over. But there are other things we don't, like chemtrails in the air, certain environmental chemicals. So what can we do? We can eat well. We can live as low stress as possible. We can think for ourselves, and we can take herbs and nutrients to help support the body's natural defense mechanisms. Okay, my top 5 for naturally strengthening the immune system. This is very basic. Some of these you might be able to find in a combination product, but for most of them, you'll need to get them individually because of the dosages that you really need to have optimal health from them. For example, vitamin C, which is on my list, but vitamin C in a multivitamin is not going to be a high enough amount for you to get true therapeutic benefits from vitamin C. You would need to take it as a separate standalone product. That way you can dose it accurately and take a large enough amount for it to have a true effect. That's just one example. So my top five are, first one is vitamin C. Vitamin C is an antioxidant. It's also antibacterial. It's antiviral. It has been shown, it has been shown in studies to kill viruses, to inactivate viruses by stopping the replication of them. That is essential because that's how viruses work. Viruses attach themselves to a host cell and they replicate for as long as they can until the body fights it off. Okay, or until you take something exogenously, you take something to kill it or to fight it or to stop the replication. So vitamin C is essential for health. It is great for almost every body system. You can use it to treat the body systemically, or you can use it for a local specific issue, like supporting the adrenal glands, or supporting the kidneys, or cleansing or flushing the gut. So vitamin C is amazing, but you need to take a certain form and a certain dosage. So I do have an online supplement dispensary that supports my website. When you go on the website, you'll see information about the dispensary. And I'll drop that in the description below. But when you take vitamin C, my preferred method is to take the buffered vitamin C form. This is in powdered form. It's ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C. Ascorbic acid is buffered with, which basically just means there are additional minerals added to it to sort of soften any potential effects. Sometimes people might have an upset stomach if they take buffered C on an empty stomach. So they've added other minerals like calcium, potassium to really help offset that problem. You can also avoid that by eating it with food on your stomach. And so eyelashes bother me. And so buffered vitamin C is my preferred form. You want to take at least 4,000 milligrams a day. At least. You can take more than that. It is highly non-toxic. Okay, so vitamin C is very safe. And it also blocks histamine. So if you're somebody who has allergies, whether it's food allergies or seasonal allergies, any condition where you have an allergic response to something, vitamin C, buffered vitamin C can really, really be supportive. It also helps to cleanse the body and detoxify the organs. So this is a really standout product for those reasons. And vitamin C will help to keep you free of disease, illness, and keeps you in a better space to protect yourself from the environment. Okay, buffered vitamin C is incredible. You can also get liposomal vitamin C, which you would use orally. And so you would just have to compare the doses, but at least 4,000 milligrams a day. And I prefer to take that in divided doses. So instead of taking 4,000 milligrams once a day, I would recommend taking 4,000 milligrams twice a day, or 2,000 milligrams twice a day if you cap your daily limit at 4,000 milligrams. But I prefer buffered vitamin C powder. It's easy to take. You mix it with water or juice. I use the Life Extension brand, but I have many brands of buffered vitamin C in my dispensary, but that is the one that is a go-to for me that I recommend to clients because of its value and the amount that you get and its quality. Second product is vitamin D. Vitamin D functions like a hormone in the body, not a vitamin. We need vitamin D for immunity. You can also use vitamin D to help heal the gut. Um, and vitamin D is excellent for our hormones. Okay, it functions like a hormone, so it helps to balance, not necessarily balance levels of other hormones, but it helps our hormones to stay in balance, if that makes sense. So things like mood and just your sense of well-being, those are all impacted by vitamin D levels. And as the seasons change, like we're going from summer to fall, from fall to winter, that can affect people, which is known as seasonal affective disorder, because there's no more sun, or the sun is not as prominent, the weather is colder, it's just you're staying indoors more, and that can affect our vitamin D levels, that can affect our mood, and that can cause depression. So vitamin D has a positive effect on depression, but you got to take enough of it. I would recommend at least 5,000 international units. And you can take vitamin D in liquid or soft gel form, at least 5,000 units. Soft gel, you want to take it in a soft gel form if you're taking vitamin D to help heal the gut. So your digestive system can process it. If you take it in a liquid form, my preference is to take it in liquid form, but if I was going to take it to heal my gut lining, I would take it in soft gel form. And plus, if you take it in liquid form, you won't have to take as much. Soft gels, you'll probably have to take a few to get 5,000 units or even more. And when I'm working with a client who's low on vitamin D, we typically start at even 10,000 units. And then I might titrate them back and have them decrease to 5,000 after a couple of weeks. So you can talk to a health practitioner, to an herbalist, or someone like myself or someone else in your camp who can help you appropriately dose that. Third item on the list is vitamin E. Vitamin E is a lesser known nutrient. It is an antioxidant. It melts fat. It melts plaque in the arteries, and it can prevent and reverse heart disease. There are studies, there are facts showing this. Vitamin E is amazing for the blood. It's amazing for the heart, and it is an antioxidant that can help protect you from pathogens like bacteria and viruses. So I love vitamin E. I take mine in a soft gel form. I take 800 milligrams a day, and the brand that I like to take is Protocol for Life Balance. It actually combines vitamin E and selenium together. Selenium is another potent antioxidant. It's also great for the thyroid and helps to boost your body's production of glutathione, which is the body's master antioxidant. But when we take glutathione orally in a supplement, it's not absorbed all that well. So I typically have people take selenium to boost their own body's production of glutathione. That is for vitamin E. If I didn't give you the brand for vitamin D, there are a lot of brands, but I like Da Vinci Labs. I take their 10,000 international unit vitamin D, but there are other brands like Biotics Research. They have an amazing liposomal vitamin D where you only need a couple drops on your tongue. So a lot of different options depending on your preferences and your palate and what you can put up with. The fourth thing on the list is zinc. Zinc is a really important mineral in so many different processes that require enzymes in order for those processes to happen. And when we're deficient in zinc, we don't have those processes happening as efficiently, and we also heal more slowly from wounds or from an illness. So if you're someone who might be diabetic, or you have wounds that take forever to heal, or you're one of those people who you're under the weather and it takes you forever just to get like back to the medium point where you feel okay, then you might be deficient in zinc. So zinc is really essential for the immune system as well. I would recommend taking 50 milligrams. However, you need to know that when you take 50 milligrams of zinc, and the reason why we want to take a higher amount is because the body typically doesn't absorb all of it. So you kind of have to go a little higher in order to absorb a good amount of it. But also vitamin C works best, zinc works best when you take vitamin B6 and copper along with it. If you're taking 50 milligrams of zinc, you need to take copper. And if you take a multivitamin, look at your label, you should have at least 2 milligrams of copper in there. Copper and zinc compete, they compete against each other for the same receptor sites. So if you have receptor sites on your cells, those are like, you can imagine those as being like a basketball hoop, and they're just waiting for the basketball to go in. They're waiting for the zinc to drop in. They're waiting for the copper to drop in. But zinc and copper both compete for the same basketball hoop. And when that happens, if you take too much zinc, not too much, but if you take 50 milligrams of zinc, it's going to beat the copper, and the copper will then not be able to enter the hoop. But we do need copper, not in large amounts, but we do need copper for our brain function, for a lot of things. And so when you take 50 milligrams of zinc, you also want to take something that has a little bit of copper in there to make sure that you are not becoming copper deficient. Okay. And zinc works. Do work synergistically together. Now, I would say if you're going to spend the money to buy B6, B complex is all of the B vitamins encapsulated, and you're going to get much more bang for your buck because of the value and also because of the effects. So all of the B vitamins work together like a symphony. Okay, kind of like your hormones. They work together like a symphony. So there aren't a lot of cases where I would recommend one B vitamin. One example would be if somebody had, let's say, schizophrenia or psychosis. I would recommend some of the single B vitamins like vitamin B3 in high therapeutic amounts. But for the average person, just taking it for health, for prevention, and to promote their own health, a B complex is definitely where it's at, because they work together like a symphony. And so B vitamins are manufactured in the gut. And going back to the gut, if your diet is off and you're eating a standard Western diet, you're probably not manufacturing B vitamins in the amounts that you need anyway. So taking an external B complex can be life changing. B vitamins also help to melt excess fat. So if you're somebody who has stubborn fat to lose, remember, having excess fat to lose could stem from a lot of causes, and it's a multifaceted thing. It's not like just one thing that causes your weight gain. It could be your thyroid, it could be your diet, it could be inflammation, it could be nutrient deficiencies, it could be a lot of things. It could be diabetes, insulin resistance. It The idea is not to try to pinpoint one thing. Know that trying to lose weight holistically should be a holistic approach, meaning we look at the big picture and we restore the body with what it needs to function better and to balance better. And when that is happening, then you are in a position where your body can shed the excess fat. But B vitamins do help to get rid of excess fat, among other things. They're going to give you great sources of, it's a great source of energy. They help to fuel the cells. They help your metabolism. So many great things. They're great for the brain and for learning. And so that's my top 5. Vitamin C, number 1. Vitamin D, number 2. Vitamin E is number 3. Zinc is number 4, and B6 is number 5. But remember, if you're taking 50 milligrams of zinc, you want to take something that has a little bit of copper in it. And you want to take B6 because they work together like a symphony. And if you're going to take B6, you might as well just take a B complex. That's what I would highly recommend. That's what I would do myself, unless you're under a protocol where your practitioner wants to target something specific with like a specific nutrient. So that's my top 5 list. And I hope this video was informative. I wanted you to know what they're not sharing with you about the vax and about your immunity and how you can protect yourself. Your immune system is your vax. Your immune system is your protective mechanism. Your antioxidant defense system is a protective mechanism to fight off free radicals and toxins. So I just want to encourage you to think. Think without being convoluted by other people's opinions. Just think. I'll drop a couple of resources below this video so that you can check out some things to search on your own. Remember, you can't go to the establishment to investigate the establishment, right? You can't go to the establishment to research information that they've put out, because that would make it very one-sided and biased. You have to try to find independent sources of news and do your research and go with what resonates with you. If this video doesn't resonate with you, just don't watch it and just leave, right? But if it resonates with you and you know that there's some truth in what I'm saying and you feel in your spirit like, yeah, this whole thing really has me leery and this video confirms it, then replay it, take notes, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. And I look forward to sharing more information. If there's something specific that you want to know about, hit me up. I'm here to help, and you can always visit my website. All of the comments, all of the information that you need is in the description below. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Take care and be well.